Hi, it's Paul Slatkus, Good News Broadcast, speaking to Rochelle Lulow. Hi, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
Creative Director and official Valentines expert at American Greetings. Wow, that's a great kind of a position at a moment like this.
It's quite a title to live up to.
I imagine more moments as well, because this is all good stuff. And how'd you get into the greetings business?
Well, actually, I came out of television, but it was all about telling a story and communicating. So to me, there was a lot of connection there between the two things that I started doing, and then what has become, for the major part of my career, the greeting card business. It's all about communication. It's all about relationships. You have to be part actor and part psychologist because you've got to understand something about relationships and all types of them, the breadth and depth of relationships, and also putting yourself in the place of other people's situations and relationships and being able to write and communicate that as well.
Okay, all we are is what we are for each other.
Yeah, that's right. Well said.
That's the motto here. Actually, that's one of our mantras of Good News Broadcast, because it's all about positive ways of life. Isn't a nice, kind, loving, caring word? Doesn't it go very, very, very far?
Yes, it does. And in all honesty, in today's world, that's probably the one thing that doesn't change. You know, the world can change on a dime. Everything is so volatile. But how you feel about each other and those relationships is more important than ever. So, as you say, a loving word, just putting that down on paper, telling somebody that means probably more than anything else.
Okay. Well, you know, I usually never ask the questions that people suggest for me to ask.
Okay.
But and this is because this is all about love and about Valentine's Day. I'm going to ask some of these questions. Uncover your romantic stage, whether you are in the crazy about you stage or if your relationship is grown into our love is strong stage and everything in between. How to communicate your love using real life language. How?
And what does that really mean? Huh?
Yes.
It has a lot to do with this new card line that we just talked about of Love Matters. This really features, and we talked to consumers about this who told us a lot about it, in terms of information that we got back and sharing of what relationships are to them. It really talked a lot about contemporary love language. That was very important. Again, doing things that are more for us, they talked about, rather than you and me, but then also taking a look at love more as a verb rather than a noun, that it's really more about not so much saying it or finding it or falling into it, but more about what you do in the name of love for each other.
It's all about deeds, right?
That was very interesting to us, and that actually gave us this idea of relationships as they talked to us, that it isn't all about just one type of relationship. It's really more about the different stages of it, so that when things first start out, because relationships are new, they don't have the same history of someone that's been together. So when you start out with infatuation, attraction, that is a very initial part of any romantic relationship. As it grows and develops, it becomes more comfortable. There's more that's happening about you as a couple and not so much about individuals anymore. It also goes into things like devotion and adoration. I think as that love begins to grow and deepen, there's even endurance to take you through difficult times together and all the way through to long lasting. So all of that information about love stages became a very important part of what helped to create Love Matters. And to find out kind of what kind of stage you're in or at, we've actually got a fun quiz on our corporate website that can help tell you a little bit more about your relationship. It's at www.corporate.americangreetings.com. And there you'll find the quiz, in addition to greeting cards from our Love Matters line that will be suitable for those relationships and those love stages, and also new gift and fun date ideas as well.
How do you add a personal touch to your cards?
Well, a lot of times it's more than just a signature. If you can find it, just think about it within yourself. Describe the relationship to yourself. If you can just lift out something you want to say in a conversational tone and then sign your name to it, it means so much more. If it's something as simple as "you mean so much to me," "I'm so glad you're in my life," "so glad we're together," that's only a few words, but that says an awful lot. And that, together with your signature, becomes a personal extension of yourself. You've taken the time to think of that person, to put that pen to paper, to share that thought. And that's a very, very important part of a relationship. That's a very important part of communication. And it doesn't have to say a lot. Even the card itself, some people who have more of a history want to say more about their relationship together. Some people want it to say a lot, but not have a lot of words. Things like just thinking about you and how much I love us. doesn't say a lot in terms of the actual number of words, but it says a lot. And yet, if there's things that you want to discuss and talk about and share and reminisce about that's made your relationship so strong, we have cards that actually in Love Matters do that as well.
You know, I'm looking at the website. First it says, what stage is your relationship in? Then ideas, celebrate your relationship this Valentine's Day.
Right.
And then there's an online fund. Check out our romantic e-cards. What do you think about sending an e-card to somebody?
Oh, an e-card is a great way to stay in touch with each other. I mean, people have told us that they like both, that one really just enhances the other. There's something about a tangible card, something that has your signature on it and a part of you that's an extension of you. But that's just one moment in time. The thing about the Internet is it allows us to talk to anybody, anywhere, anytime, any place. Therefore, sending an e-card, very many people do the same thing. Also, people in romantic relationships, and that's something in the Love Matters line that we've made sure to include, is that range of tone. Because some people feel more playful about their relationship, some people feel more heartfelt, some people want both, and humor as well. So there's where e-cards can actually add to this in addition. We also have things on photoworks.com, also an American Greetings company, where you can share photos of yourself, put together something special, again, that's a tangible form of your relationship that's captured in photos. And with words to go with it, you have something that really talks to that relationship.
That's very special. There's no doubt about that, to get a picture, and a picture of both people or three people or one person, whatever it is, and send a card in that regard.
Absolutely, and also the Love Matters line took another tip from that, where photographs were such an important part of people's lives, that what we've done with this line, it's a photographic line, but it's moments that are captured in time on camera that really are very contemporary of people doing things together, hands, holding hands, things that tell an emotional story photographically is a very big part of this line, coupled with that romantic contemporary language.
With an e-card, can you print it out?
I know you can send them to people. I don't know for sure if you can print it or not. I know there's printable cards. My guess is that you probably can to some extent.
I would think so as well. I know we worked with the U.S. Postal Service for about 12 years, was my client, and we did a lot of work with, you know, the reality of sending a letter, sending a card, sending something. I think still, though, the physically getting, I know when my daughter gives me a picture of my grandson and a card or something like that, or a letter that says thank you, whatever, I think it still is a stronger bond.
Well, there's something about handing something to someone. Certainly if there's distance involved or you can't be there, the mail is the thing that allows you to maintain that connection, which is so important. But I do agree with you. There is something about handing something to someone. Most important, I think, whether it's something that has to travel through the mail or it's handed to someone, has to do with that signature. It has to do with that personal extension of who you are. And your handwriting very often is exactly that. You come to know it, it's part of you, it's an extension of you, and people recognize that and are aware of it and appreciate it. So that handwritten touch is a very important part in addition to being able to give that card to someone.
Do you think this year is going to be different in some sense of Valentine's Day?
I think, if anything, it's going to turn people back to relationships and how important they are, because more than ever, in the world that changes on a dime, that does not change. So relationships are still at the heart of everything that keeps us going. Knowing that we're in this thing called life together is a very important part of a relationship, and I think people are turning back to that more than ever. You hear people saying, I love you, even at the grocery store when they're on the cell phone talking about which cereal to get, they end the conversation with love you or love you too. And I think there's that exchange. I hear it more than ever. And I think that's because of the world we live in today. It's so important to reinforce, to let people know, to tell them again and again how much they mean to you.
I agree with you 1,000%. Telling somebody you love them and meaning it, of course, and feeling that is the greatest thing that somebody could do. And it's such a healing and opening of your heart and your arteries.
Yes, that's absolutely right. It's just a healthy thing to do.
It's a proven. Norman Cousins watched a lot of Marx Brothers movies. So to help him.
Laughter is all a big part of it. Love is a part of life. Those things go hand in hand very often. And even heartfelt sentiments. There's such a range of the communication that we want to tell somebody about that relationship. That's where cards can be such a big part of it. I mean, things that say something as simple as, just when I think my love for you couldn't be any deeper, any stronger, any more complete, I fall in love with you all over again. There's just something that it doesn't have to be long or verbose. It's just very honest and very real. And that's actually part of the Love Matters line, is it's about real life and about real love.
And do you have to be someone's actually literally in the old days their Valentine? I mean, do you have to like be that only special one? I mean, it doesn't only just mean a romantic relationship, right?
Absolutely not. You are so right. It has to do. It's all about love, and whether it's romantic love or love of friends and family, that's what Valentine's Day is all about. And our cards do that. Even Love Matters carries cards that are meant for people who you are just close to, as well as the romantic people in your life. So it's very much about all of that, because this is the day to tell someone that you care about them.
Okay, well, that's beautiful. I usually give cards to everybody in my office, and those
good
little candy things.
Yes,
that,
the little
kiss me, love me.
Messages and words on that. That's all part of the emotional connection that you want to share.
It's a beautiful holiday. You're a wonderful spokesperson and creative director. I can feel you must have made some great TV shows too. I can sense it.
I have actually.
I can sense. I can sense
another great way to do it.
It's all beautiful. Well, I look forward to speaking with you again. Actually, yeah.
Yes.
And last thought. What's good news for Rochelle?
Well, let's see. That's a good question. Well, I think just being able to talk to you has been a wonderful experience for me as well. And being able to tell our story, I thank you for that. So that's been very exciting to me.
Perfect. Okay, well, thank you, and have a wonderful and happy Valentine's Day to you.
Happy Valentine's Day to you and yours.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.